Welcome back, everyone, to our final and third part of Black the Video Game. And with that, we are just going to get right into it. So, as you recall, we said last week we were turning this into a three-parter. So, this is going to cover the final act, which is mission 6, 7, and 8 of this series. So, let's get right in where we left off, right? Because we cut off right before a cutscene.
Mm-hmm.
So we jump in to this cutscene. What we see is that it's a bit of like a satellite imagery, right? We're not in the room necessarily. It's a satellite because we left off going through the asylum and looking for Valencio, just to remind everyone. So it's a satellite imagery of what happens. We find Valencio, maybe some surveillance footage, and we're being kind of a dick. We're like, think of your wife Nina, think of your kid. Very Italian name. I don't remember what it was. It was something very, very stereotypical. And we're like, if you don't
John
tell
Ralphio.
us, well, John Ralphio, yes. He's just going, and like kids in the background, just don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Like walking out. And we're like, look, if you don't tell us where Linux is, we don't say it. We definitely imply we're gonna hurt the kids. Which I'm gonna be honest is pretty unheroic of us. So I don't know what we're going for here, other than like we're just kind of like always breaking the rules, and 90s actually like do what we can. But I was like, well, that's a bit much, military
Do
man.
what we can.
Yeah, it was a lot. So right out of that, we realize we're back with the interrogator, and we're like, where the hell did you get that footage? And he's like, well, your mission was to take out Valencio, not torture him. And I had a moment where I was like, does it really matter by that point? Like, if you're going to kill him, are you really upset that, like, we gave a little bit of, like, a vague threat of, like, tell us or we'll hurt your family? Like, you want us to kill him anyway. So let's get off our high horse. But we're like, yeah. I don't have time for stupid comments. And the interrogator is like, all right, well, fine. So you hit the dockyard based on Valencio's intel. We're like, well, yeah, that and McCarver's intel, right? And her permission. She briefed the division and they greenlit the operation on the dockyard. And our interrogator's like, no, they didn't. We're like, no, they did. Like, we have the documents, we have the plans, like everything that shows this legit. So it's the second time, maybe third time, that we're starting to learn that, like, us rolling with McCarver isn't quite what it seems, right? Like, she isn't quite honest with the things that we're doing, and we're still not really sure to what end, which we'll get to talk about here shortly as we get to the end of this playthrough. But yeah, that's just, she's not who she says she is, or she's not at least going about things the right way. So the interrogator's like, look, man, McCarver's been under investigation for a while now. Like, your actual mission ended at the steelworks, and essentially, like, since then, you guys have been kind of rogue. Like, I know you might think things are going up the chain, but like nothing's going up the chain, so you're just doing what the fuck you want to do. And we're like, there's no way. Like I said, like, we had all these docs. Like, it seems to be as straight as it should be. So yeah, so that takes us right into, as we're talking about like the dockyard sort of thing, and we don't believe what he's saying, it's all in the up and up. This drops us right into the actual level 6 gameplay, which is in the dockyard, right? And I have to say, like, as soon as this level started, I actually really liked it. I like the layout. I like the environment. I like the way things look. I just made a note where I kind of felt like the last playthrough in like the European countryside, I said it before, it felt kind of Call of Duty-ish. And this feels like Call of Duty, like World War II-ish, right? Yeah. Where this actually feels back to like modern day. The dockyard feels like modern buildings. I think the layout was a little bit smarter and there was more around. So I think the level design was much better. I just put the other felt kind of dull, and this felt a little new. And so I like that. Again, we're not going to talk too much about the level itself because we've seen it. Run, gun, shoot, boom, boom, blow things up, shoot some more, throw some grenades. Halfway through this mission, McCarver says she's been hit.
I heard that.
You all heard that, right? We continue to find our way to the inside of the warehouse, or the docks, right? And we get our first like in-game cutscene.
Yeah. The only
which was odd.
In-game
the
cutscene.
only which was very odd. It was just a pan of the like warehouse in the dockyard, and everybody. It's not
It's
just
like a
our
jump
whole
scare almost.
It was odd. It was yeah, because like
it was just here's a bunch of dead bodies on the ground and dead
Yeah.
NPCs
No.
on fire.
no, but
Not
like
what I
but the
mean.
drasticness of like the cutscene, right?
Like
Like
I'm
sure.
saying that you're not expecting a cutscene because we haven't got one all game, and then it drops, and you're like, "What the fuck is like?"
yeah, it almost to the fact where like I was going through it waiting for a quick time event.
I thought
Because like
we
that
were
was
gonna
the
get a
only
boss
thing that
battle.
made
I thought this
Yeah,
was gonna
it's-
be like slow motion, and I was like, I killed them all. And like, okay, shit, well, we got a boss battle.
Yeah,
No.
it was very jarring. So we see that like everybody running around McCarver and us is dead. McCarver's not dead, but everybody else is dead. In fact, I don't even know if we ever find out what happened with that. Like, I've been hit. Like, did anything come of that? Did I just miss McCarver? It's never mentioned.
No, it's
McCarver
not.
never says a word. Like, she's like, I've been hit, and like,
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
it.
There you go.
Unless I missed it.
Okay. Okay, as long as we're all on the same page. So that cutscene is the end of that mission. So we come back into another cutscene, and we're just talking about it. We're like, look, we lost a lot of good people, but after that, our team was ordered. We were ordered back, but McCarver said like it had nothing to do with it. So we agree in that moment, like, we're kind of out for blood. Like, we're not coming back. We're going to go after Lennox. Like, he just killed all of our team and everybody else that was there in the dockyard. So we're going to hunt him down, like, by any means necessary. By this point, we're just kind of out for revenge. This cutscene was like 21 seconds long. There was literally no dialogue other than, like, us where they called us back. We said, fuck off. We decided we're going to get him by any means necessary. Anyway, back to gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if we were starting to hit the end of our budget by the next cutscene. I'm actually starting to think maybe we are.
I think there's an argument to say that throughout this entire game, you can start to see some areas of budget constraints, but that's, who knows?
Yeah. So that was it. So we're back into the gameplay here. So this level, we're trying to make our way to Lennox. And we're doing it. He's like holed up in this gulag across the way from where we are, which just happens to be on the opposite side of possibly the world's widest and longest bridge. Because like all 30 minutes of this mission was just spent like walking across this bridge.
And if you die at the end of that bridge before you hit the fucking checkpoint, you get to do it all over again because there is not a checkpoint in the middle of that bridge.
I'm gonna say that happened to you.
It did. Sure fucking did. I'm like, God, like, it was like, I think like towards the end, like when you get past the bridge, like there's a minefield, like I hit like a rocket or something like that.
There is a
and I just fucking die. And it's like, oh, we're starting here? Cool. We'll do this all over again. Sure. So that part that I sneaked around in, I'm like, we're not sneaking this time. We're just fucking going.
So what's so funny is that there's moments like this whenever we do some of these playthroughs where things happen like that. And now that I know that, because I did not know that, because I didn't die there, but if I had,
that would have been you had done.
I would have absolutely been equally as irritated as you, Preston, for sure.
Yeah, it was not great.
Yeah,
Long
that is bad. I didn't hit it either because they called out like there was a minefield over the walkie-talkie, so I was very cautious of what was going on. I did not know you had to start over either. That sucks. But yeah, there's a lot. Like, this bridge is way too long. It's full of barricades. There's RPG soldiers on there. There's a minefield at the end of it just for reasons of like boom boom. And then we get to the other end, which is that big ass gulag, which actually looked pretty cool. It looked like kind of a European old school prison. Pretty big. We bust our way in there. We finally get inside. Boom, cutscene, and that is the end of this mission. I don't want to make it seem like, oh, it's really short. Like, no, these missions are like 30 to 50 minutes, depending on what you're doing. It's a lot of shooting, but
they're
like,
all right below 30,
nothing
except for the last one. They're all right below like 22 to 26 minutes long for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the kind of game where it's like we give you a little bit of cutscene to fill up some story. You get a little bit of chatter while you're actually doing the gameplay, but other than that, there's not really much happening in this game other than go forward to the next checkpoint, shoot everything on the way. Other than that, you're not going
Well,
to get a whole bunch. I mean, I thought this was kind of cool because like you had some buses that were kind of stopping you from like advancing here and there that people would be holed up in. And for this level, you got that nice little Terminator grenade launcher. So I'm just like foomp, foomp everywhere I go. And I was like, yeah. One of those little shotgun guys wants to come up in my face? No. Foomp. And you just get him. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. To your point about the chatter thing, right? Like there's a little chatter.
Ask
That
me
all
what they
kind of goes
said.
away. Well, that all kind of goes away in like the next mission. The next mission's quiet as shit. So
It's just him.
once we
isn't it?
get, yeah, right. Like so, once
Yeah.
we get inside, that we go to our next cutscene, right, in the gulag, and let me see. Oh yeah, literally the cutscene was it was long enough for us to go. We were almost there. We were so close to getting him. We could taste it. That was it. Anyway, back to the video game. So the last two cutscenes are like 20 seconds and like 9 seconds, and now we're back into it. So we have a huge fight through this place. Like you're right, Preston. The timing for you is right. Remember, I'm kind of like map scraping for stupid intel for no reason. I did officially find out.
Definitely not.
Yeah, no, I did officially find out what you get. So you get two things if you find everything. You get the like gold-plated guns. The other thing you get is you get a grenade launcher that is on the M4, and that is your new starting weapon on your next playthrough.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Every
not
single
worth it.
time that I would happen upon something as I was running around or like running through, I'd always go, I cannot believe that Alex is getting all of these. Like I was like, I cannot believe this, and then I would just keep running.
So yes. So we have a huge fight through this gulag, and the thing is massive. Like it is sprawling. And really, like, I don't have anything to call out here other than towards the end, like, you can really feel, you know how games teach you their gameplay throughout, right? And then you get to the end, they kind of say, okay, now it's time to put it together. Like, I don't know that I've ever been slapped across the face with that mechanic more than this. That was just like, here's some basic enemies. Now here's some of those shielded enemies that you have to. Now here's like some of the more shielded
They're all
enemies. Like
here.
they're all here. Like put it all together, and oh look over there. There's a strategic thing to blow up, and now this one. Like it just. I was like, yeah, I get it. You
We're
just
gonna
want
put
me to use
RPG
everything I've
guys in
learned.
a small, like, contained area. Yay! I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck off.
Yeah. So yes, you go through the gulag, then you go kind of up through the city and through some other buildings, and there's nothing special other than fighting, and it's a lot of fighting. It's a lot of bullets. It's a lot of booms. Eventually, you get to the end, and we get a cutscene, and we don't have a spectacular boss fight. In that cutscene, we're like, Linux is dead. We killed him, and then he says, we're like, you know what he said to me? We're talking to the interrogator. Like, you know what he said to me the first time we met? Don't trust these guys. And I also don't believe in coincidences, which is like, okay, cool tie back to like the second fucking mission.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't believe in coincidences, which is convenient because there are no coincidences here. The interrogator is like, you're so predictable. You did everything our psychologist thought you would do. And we're like, what are you talking about? He's like, Linux not dead. He's very, very much alive. And thanks to the mess that you created, we're going to be able to go at him without Congress interfering, without them getting their hands all over it. So we want you to destroy Linux. Are you going to help? And so clearly what he's saying there is like, look, we picked you because we knew you were gonna be a hothead and you weren't gonna listen to anything, and you're gonna easily manipulated. So like we could pressure you into doing things. We knew you wouldn't stop no matter what, right? You're a rule breaker, so you did everything. So now that we can go after him for real, I guess, do you want to go with us and you want to do it? And we're like, well, what about the charges? Like, what about our file? Like, you know, all that. And the interrogator's like, well, we're gonna fake your death. You're going to be immune to all of that. And you died at the gulag. And he's like, you know, a while ago you said you wanted to kill Linux so bad you could taste it. Can you still taste it? We're like, yes. And he says, great, let us begin. Credits.
Yep. For a sequel that never happened. Or I guess successor did happen, but
A spiritual successor happened. So let's talk about Black and this ending. I have to say, I didn't remember that this game ended the way that it did. I'll talk about the ending, then I'll talk about what I thought was good and what was bad. So I was really frustrated by the ending, as I think you guys probably were a little let down too, if I had to guess, because
let down
ending on a
means that I was hoping or thinking that there was going to be something better, but I wasn't. I'm like, that sounds about right.
I
Done.
thought
Uninstall.
we would catch the bad guy, and that would be that. I did not expect us to not even catch the bad guy. So I was super let down by that. It didn't hit me until that cutscene, which I don't know why it didn't hit me, but like, there's no boss fights in this game.
No.
So the challenge is only in your difficulty that you're playing on, because if you're playing on harder difficulties, you have less ammo, which make the enemies harder to deal with. But if you're not playing on a harder difficulty, the challenge of the game never ramps up, right? Like, you're thrown on the difficulties we were playing on normal and easy. I was playing on normal. Christian, I think you're playing on normal. Preston, you're playing on easy.
Yeah.
They throw ammo, they throw grenades at you. So like, taking care of the hardest enemy isn't really that hard. So it's not to the end when you are let down by the fact you don't have an enemy to fight. I didn't notice that, like, oh, there's no boss fight, right? And which just made this game very linear, very, very simple. It also frustrated me that, like, we were introduced to the bad guy very early on in this game, which was Lennox, right? The cutscene between mission 1 and 2, they talk about him. And then after we're going after him after mission 4, it changes to where all of a sudden we're going after his underboss, right? Like, the one that got away. And it's just like, so we're not even going after the main guy, which to me clearly says at one point in time, EA thought that this would be enough to sustain an entire series. They clearly thought, like, we are going to have a sequel on our hands.
At least a sequel, yeah.
At least a sequel, right?
Yeah, they're hoping for at least, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, you know, I just, that was kind of frustrating when it ends. I'm just like, well, we just went after a guy that doesn't even fucking matter. A guy that we kind of, you know, like, I don't know, he's just like under, but he means nothing, right? So that was a little frustrating. Now, there are things I liked about this game. Like, I think the guns for the day felt good. I think they sounded great.
Mm-hmm.
I watched this video of somebody talking about the guns, and I guess Criterion, their idea was, we want to reinvigorate the first-person shooter genre the way we reinvigorated, like, the racing genre with Burnout.
Yep.
And so they really put, like, they wanted to take from these action movies and stuff in the 90s, but they came up with this thing called the orchestration, the orchestra of bullets, or the orchestra of guns. I forget what it was, but either way, essentially what they did is they would group up their enemies, and they had an algorithm to count the enemies. So if you had like 3 people shooting at you, one of the guns would have a mid tone, the other would have a high tone, the other would have a low tone. So it actually sounded like 3 different guns coming at you, and not like 3 guns would sound, but like, it was almost like an orchestra in the way that you had like mids, lows, and highs coming all at the same time, so you could audibly tell a difference back in the day.
It was just like messy noise.
Yeah, other than just boom, like the same boom, 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 right? You could tell a difference, which I thought actually was a good touch. Like, it did sound good. I think the demo tech for the time, which this whole game is built around, was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that it was enough to do an entire 6-hour game out of, but like, it was interesting. And I think the best thing is the soundtrack, and the most egregious thing is they would even let you play your own music over it. Like, the music was incredible. So to even like bill this thing as like, listen to your own music on it, like, that's almost criminal to how good this soundtrack
until
is.
you get to the sniper area where Christian fell asleep because there was no music.
That's true. There was no music in that.
Yeah,
there was no music in that one mission. That was very odd. The things I didn't like about it though, like I think I read well, as I was reading about it too, because I was just reading like afterwards how the game did and the success, and the game, as we mentioned earlier, was a critical success. It really did well. It reinvigorated a lot of first-person shooters that came after. But he made two comments about this game. He said the problem with games like this, like with the demo tech, is that it's really cool when you're the first one to do it, but when everybody else starts doing it too, it's way better in nostalgia than it is going back to. Because when you go back to it, all of a sudden you're like, I've seen other people do it as well, and I've seen other people do it better, and I've experienced it better, and so on. So like, because they were early on this tech and it was cool, there's not much replay, there's no story that takes you back, and it really truly, like, I agree 100%, it was better in my mind of the time I had with it than actually going back and spending more time with it.
A lot of it was you playing with your friends. I mean, like, that's like, even when I'm thinking about my score, it's like you gotta understand that, like, we are playing this by ourselves. Mm-hmm. Now, if we were hanging out or having fun, joking with each other, fucking around, it just, that adds a level of entertainment, of fun to the game. And a lot of this game, you could tell it was meant for you to hang out with your friends, shoot a bunch of stuff, make stuff blow up, and you guys have fun. Mm-hmm. This was, like Christian said, it was a tech demo. They got a fun couple things like destructible environments, a lot of audio stuff they did there, like you mentioned with the guns. There's a lot of fun tech in here. But this is a driving game company, and they made a shooter. Shooters aren't super duper complicated. I mean, they've been around for a while for when this game came out. Like, you've had GoldenEye, and all the games that came after it, they kind of like usher in first-person shooters and consoles and things like that. So we've had a lot of it there. Like Christian mentioned, we also had Halo 1 and 2, which are much better shooters than this game. This game does...
Also from a studio that didn't do shooters beforehand.
Fair enough. But yeah, it's there has been better games afterwards as well. I mean, like, Battlefield comes to mind when you're talking about like military shooters with big indestructible environments. It's like, and then you go back to Black and you're like, yeah, it's kind of cool. But like, if you really think about the destructible environments back then, like, that was a pretty cool tech that they had on their hands at the time.
So back in 2006, when this came out, the shooters at the time, you mentioned Halo, right? Call of Duty,
Halo 2.
And Halo 2. Call of Duty 3, which was still in their era of all World War II.
Yeah, their World War II era, yeah.
Right. Black was second on this list. Prey, alien shooter, right? Resistance.
Original Prey, yeah.
Original Prey. Resistance, Rainbow Six, Call of Juarez. So, like, the thing that stands out, there are good games on here. Far Cry, some other stuff. There are good games on here, but the thing that definitely stands out is the destruction tech. That's the one thing that separated this from everything else on the list.
Say Far Cry.
I would say the closest I could put something near this would be like Resistance, because Halo and Halo 2 are like, you know,
Resistance gets sci-fi
away from that
wacky woohoo stuff. Yeah. And
I was just saying in terms of like quality, right? Okay. Like I think they're closer than
very
that.
Brown,
but
very.
I would still say Resistance is still above that, because to Preston, your point, it has a story that
and it gets sci-fi and weird. You got weird guns, having fun with.
Yeah, like there's at least a story there that is like written. And hey,
I'm not gonna say it's good,
fair,
but it's a story.
I don't know.
It's been a long time.
By saying is it's been a long time. I don't remember it at all. I just know, and I've technically never played the third one, so I don't even know how it ever finished out. But what I was gonna say was that game, or that's Resistance, did get to tell all of the stories that it wanted to tell. Where it, like, as far as getting the full trilogy, Black never got that opportunity. So who knows? They put Criterion to work right back on Burnout right afterwards. I think. They did say like the story, like, you know,
whoever's leading this game said the story was second.
So not
The
surprising.
guns were the
Yep.
heroes, right? And the problem, and you can see it, and that's the problem. Like when you get to the last 3 missions, your cutscenes and your story are seconds long. Like you were so front heavy that led to like no replayability. But honestly, like no, it's not going to stick with you. You're not going to remember anything. Like, and it shows so badly
So
that the
this is-
story was not part of this.
Yeah,
game.
that's kind of what I was gonna say. It was like, I think for me, so obviously this era is long gone, but like when around this time this came out, and then for a little while afterwards too, trade shows were a big thing, right? Like
Mhm.
big, bombastic reveals for all these different kind of games and tech around them and whatever. And one of the things that used to happen at these trade shows, for just people who don't know, because like I said, they don't even fucking happen anymore, is when new game engines were released, right? We would see like concepts to show what that engine can do. So like
Unreal
things that
still
come to mind
does it.
is, like,
They're like the only people who still do it, I think.
Unreal still does it, but Unreal.
I was saying CES is a great trade show, but it has nothing to do with gaming. So if anybody's heard of CES, you're wondering like what it was like. It was like that but for games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Unreal, to Preston's point, like what they'll do is they'll just say like, hey, here's these different concepts, like, and they'll show physics off, or they'll show
Mhm.
like, just polygon count, like, all different things that go into making a video game. Like, look at how far you can push it with this engine now, or here's these things that you can do, and yada yada yada. And sometimes during these trade shows, you would see concepts in these games, and you would go, man, that looks fucking cool. They should make a game out of that. Whatever that was looks sick. Black, to me, is what happens when somebody actually does that.
Yeah.
And now it's making you think, oh, thank God we never got games like that, because they would have all more than likely turned out like this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think the like I agree. I think the gun tech is cool. I actually think the tech, regardless of whether or not somebody should do it or not, I think the tech of being able to replace the soundtrack with the songs that you've put on your Xbox hard drive is very cool. And it led a whole thing to go
It is
into the
cool.
360, right? Where 360, you were able to do that all the fucking time, and that was cool as fuck. So like,
Just don't pay for an Academy Award winning composer if that's
well,
what you're going to
but
do.
the reason, the argument I would say for that is that the PS2, you didn't have that option, right?
True,
So the PS2,
that's fair.
you were still getting that soundtrack.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so it was just an extra feature for that console that I think is still cool as far as tech is concerned. But does that mean that it deserved to like, get its, like, even like, in my opinion, I'm like, even by the end of it, I'm like, yep, these guns are cool, but like, I'm ready. And I actually had forgotten that this game ends on a cliffhanger like that, until it happened, and then it was one of those things where I went, right, that is part of the memory that got erased the first time that I played this game. So I don't know, man. I mean, yeah,
It's very frustrating because it feels like I just put 6 hours into it. And hey, maybe back then if when couch co-op was so big for me and my friends, right? Like, and here's the 2006 would be a big time for couch co-op.
Yeah,
I wasn't.
That's like
I
our
was out of the
first,
house.
second
I
year
was-
of, hi-
well,
of
but-
college.
Well, I was out of the
This is-
house, but yeah, I was in college, right? So I was
yeah.
living with 3 other roommates. So it would have been a big
We're all
time.
about that, yeah.
But like that is the only.
But
thing
could you like? But
that-
here's the thing: is that even in
makes
that
it
moment, this is the
redeemable.
kind of thing that I have a hard time with. Is so I never played this game co-op, to be fair, so I don't know. But if I'm playing this on the original Xbox, right, which is where I played it,
That's where I played it too.
and if I'm with my buddies and we're sitting there and we're playing through Black, I think after about like the first couple hours, I can't, like, I'm just like, I feel like the whole vibe in the room would be like,
Do we just want to play Halo?
you guys want to just play Halo
You guys
2?
want to play Halo?
Like,
Play multiplayer.
What are we doing? Let's just play Halo 2. Like, because what are we doing? Like if we want to play story co-op and we don't feel like playing online, we should just play that. And if we wanted to play online with Xbox Live, well, there we go. We can still do that split screen and toss each other and like do that stuff. Like, it's hard. Like, I mean, and that was 2 years before. Like, I'm not even saying like, oh, they were released in the same year. I'm saying like, because I remember the chokehold that I was in with Halo. Like, you know, I feel like we all obviously it was a, you know, a fucking moment, but like, man, I'm just having a hard time thinking to myself and being like, I think there was a reason that I played through Black, erased most of my memory of it, except for the fact that I could put Guns N' Roses as the background when I was a kid, and then was like, well, dude, I had Appetite for Destruction. It was the first
your Peoria is coming out. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're right. Peoria was the main fucking listener for Guns N' Roses. Anyway, but yeah, I like. And then that was it. And that was the only thing. And I remember like, oh yeah, it was the Burnout guys. And then that was it. And I fucking erased everything else from it. Yeah. And as we went through it, I was like, right.
So I tend to agree.
This game, I'm like, this game is a giant letdown.
I tend to agree with you, but I also disagree with you. So like, yes, I think maybe even back then you would have done this. And now you would definitely do exactly what you just said. I think back then though, like, if Call of Duty, or I'm sorry, if Halo didn't really catch you, maybe you're more of a Call of Duty type of person, then this would be the best experience of that, right? Like, regardless of story, because Call of Duty's story was like middling, has always been middling at best.
Well, it was just World War II.
World War II, right? That's what I mean. Yeah. But the technology would be fun of just like blowing shit up. So like, I don't know that the mood in a single playthrough would be like, ugh, like what are we doing? Like I think you would have fun doing it, but you would get through this game.
Know people that Halo didn't work for?
I could probably maybe if I went by history, I'd probably find.
I think that your smile is really good. Is that it didn't? That wasn't a thing. I don't actually, in my personal life, I have actually, if somebody was into games back then. Yeah. I don't actually know a single individual who was like, Halo was lame.
No, I get it, but I'm just saying, yes, I agree. But like, I'm just saying for a short playthrough, you're probably pretty high on it. Like, all this is fun. Now, once you beat the game, I think you're moving on and not coming back. Right? Like, there's no replay value. So
have for a while.
If it's the only game, sure. We had a mod. We had a modded Xbox, so it's.
I mean, there's no shot that you had an Xbox but didn't get Halo and got Black instead.
No,
that's true. No,
because it was out 2 years beforehand. I mean, there's just no way. That's just not a real.
So I think you have fun for 2 days, right? You and your friend, you and your buddy play it. Maybe you binge it one day, but probably have fun for 2 days, and then you don't come back. But I don't know. The thing that does hamper this though, no multiplayer. Like, multiplayer could have been fun. Maybe it would have given it some sort of life cycle, but like no multiplayer.
The minefield, but the lack of the bridge level.
You have levels, right? And you add some boom booms into it. You have everything else you need, the guns and grenades. Yeah, like add some like traps or like you could kill people by blowing up walls and other stuff. Like I think that
again, I just think the problem. I hear you. I just think there's no like. There's no fucking way that if this game had a multiplayer mode, that it lasts for more than one match. Like, people sign in, they go, all right, time for team deathmatch. They play it and they go, get this out of my Xbox and put Halo 2 back in.
Oh, no, I think you're right, because they only had 5 guns in the whole game and nothing else. Yeah.
More than 5 guns.
I don't know if there were, to be honest.
There would be if you beat it like you did, then you get 2 more.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know, man. Like, going back and playing it was a huge letdown. It's one of those things that actually like changes your memory of the game you played back then, because like there's so much left. There's so much left on the table. Like even in the little shit. Like even if you don't do a story, give me a reason why you want me to pick up the intel or destroy the safes, right? Like all those side things. Like give me a reason. Maybe that unlocks skins or.
1 out of 5, 2 out of 5. Like, give me something that does that. Otherwise, it just blows up and has nothing. There's like no fanfare to it at all, other than you
I
get
need,
a
I,
blue
I need
reticle.
the endorphins. I need the endorphin pop. You got to give me something for it. You got to
Show me I'm
reward
doing a
me
little
for
checklist. I don't
doing.
give a fuck, dude.
I
Show
need
me
number
something.
go up, number go
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
For reals.
it could be a skin, could be a skill, could be a lot of things. Could just be a fucking lore video or collectible. I guess it's just there was so much left on the table for this tech demo. Yeah.
But that's the nature of a tech demo. I mean, that's it.
No, I
For
know.
me,
No, I know.
It was refilling my memories more than it be like it was like there was moments like as we were going through where I would rush back to my room, and I was like sitting there, and I was like, Jesus, I remember this exact moment. I remember all that. Woof, and I would just keep going. Like it was
This game should have been cut in half without the cutscenes. Should have just been fucking cut in half and packaged with another game. Right? And I don't even mean that. I mean like make it a true tech demo. Just make it a tech demo. And be like, look at this cool stuff that could be coming from EA in the future, even if you didn't like act on it. Like you make it 3 levels, you pack it in something else.
Here's what
and move on.
I would say. I would rather them do something like before the next burn. Because let me look and see when was. This is 06, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So, Jesus Christ. 2 years later, this company releases Burnout Paradise. So I just want to put that in perspective. What I would rather them do.
To be fair,
Burnout-
this was end of one console, and Burnout Paradise is on another
Right.
console. So they have
Burnout
new tech to
Revenge
work
is in
with.
2005.
Okay.
I would have rather them, right after Burnout Revenge, release a trailer saying, or like EA, this could have been EA. Guys, Criterion's hard at work, blah, blah, blah. We've made some advancements in our engine, and here's some of the cool shit you can do, like you can expect from the company that has done destruction and explosions and all the things better than anybody else. Here's like we're showing this thing codenamed Black, but it's just don't worry about it. It's just a thing that we're showing to showcase blah 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 blah. Get excited for the future. Show some scenes from Black. Show doors blowing off. Show the explosion. Show all that stuff, and then we fast forward to 2008 when Burnout Paradise comes out, and everyone's like, "This is the coolest thing that's ever been made." And
So you just say for 4 years, just skip the game, show some videos, and call it a day.
Man, probably could have got Paradise
done.
1 year earlier.
It's 2
They
years.
didn't make it.
That's that's a fucking fact, actually, probably. Like, but yeah, I would have just been like, just wait 2 years instead. Like that, like show this off.
No, but it was 4 years, right? Because Revenge was 2 years before this, and then Paradise 2 years after this.
You said this was 06.
Yeah,
Paradise is 08.
right. But then you said Revenge was 2 years before, so the
No,
gap between.
Revenge is 05.
Okay, well, still 3 years between them. Yeah.
How long does it take to make a video game?
I mean, but back then people were cranking out video
It's
games.
hard.
No,
What I'm
back
saying
then,
is- no.
then people were cranking out games.
They're ranking them
because-
out now.
But here's the thing: is that no, because even then, Halo 1, 2001, Halo 2, 2004, like 3 years was like the cycle. Like people were used to games coming out at a 3-year clip. All I'm saying is, 2005, we get Burnout Revenge. 2006 comes around, boom. Here's a trailer. Get excited. You can even wait till 2007 if you want. Whatever you want to do in there. Here's a trailer. Here's Black. Show some tech. 2008 rolls around, boom. Burnout Paradise. Everybody's excited.
Your
Much like you said,
idea
Alex.
your idea is not that different than mine, which is keep a tech demo. Mine is just pack it with something else. let people
I
play
like your
around with
idea.
it
Like
and
have
call it a
another
day.
Xbox exclusive game, and then have
Yeah,
like
just pack it in.
you get the tech demo for Black, with packed in with this, and then comes like if you beat it, you get the trailer for Burnout Paradise or some shit like that.
Yeah, but like not but it's still a tech demo. It's just be packed with something
Sure.
else, so
I agree.
you could play. Yeah, it was a bummer. Interesting thing, right? Body Count was a huge failure, and
Never heard of
they went to another company that also made racing games that had never made a first-person shooter before. And somebody I was doing a video when they were talking about it, they were just like, it could have been the same thing. Like maybe they did lack a multiplayer. It could have been the fact that they try to follow the same model, and the 2006 model doesn't work in 2011 when the other one did. But yeah,
I mean, hold on, because
it looks different, but it seems like it's just all guns, no story, no nothing else. Like,
so that's 2011.
Yeah, it came out
when
2011.
did- I'll just check something here.
Chris, you
Yeah,
got
I'll tell you what happened is that we lived in a post Halo 3 world. It was 2007. As a matter of fact, I'll do you one better. Yeah, Reach was 2010. I'll tell you why body count didn't matter. It's because it was garbage compared to anything else that had came before it. Like,
so if those were out, when did ODST come out? That would have been way earlier.
ODST would have been, I think, just
It was before Reach, right? Or was it after?
Yeah, I think it's before 2009. Yeah,
Yeah. So you're 3. Yeah.
yeah. Halo 3, Halo ODST, and Halo Reach all before body count. That's why body count didn't succeed.
Does that mean Gears would have been out too?
Yes, yes.
So then you would have actually had like that sort of destructed.
Yeah, dude, you were covered on every front. There was no world in which Killzone
Modern Warfare.
Fucking no, to Preston's point,
That's true.
Killzone 2
Modern Warfare
and 3. Yes,
Modern
and
Warfare-
Modern Warfare 3.
Warfare
There
2
was
or 3,
No,
yeah.
There was no room. There was no room. None.
Yeah.
Unless you made a game that was about to blow everybody's fucking mind, which you just weren't gonna do, Ben.
Shooters
yeah.
were covered.
Man,
Yeah.
that's the ranking we should do.
Best shooters.
Those best shooters of all time. Oof.
That's-
We could do a lot of top tens. That'd be fun.
that's a
That'd be
brutal-
fun.
I've
That's a
been
brutal list.
top 10s in the pocket for side
So-
quests. We need them.
Speaking of that, though, I guess the only thing that's left to do is rate this bad boy.
Yep. Out of I'll go last. This is my game. That's typically what we do.
Fine.
Yeah. Go ahead, Preston. Out of 5 black bullets, what do you want to give it?
Yikes.
So it's like you said, there's some good music in there, but it's not overall great music throughout the entire game. I did like some of the look of the game, but it's not throughout. I did like some of the destruction. A little overdone, but fun. Bullshit. It's fine. Whatever. They're known for that.
Overdone is an understatement.
Yeah, it's worse than a Michael Bay movie. There's just explosions fucking everywhere. Yeah, I did this. To me, this is a below average game. I mean, I would say if I were to go back in time and we were playing this with friends, I think it would be exactly what Christian would say, is that we would play it for a little bit and be like, why aren't we just playing Halo 2 now? Like, why are we just not playing this other game together? It's that and the lack, I didn't even think about it. The lack of like multiplayer, like PvP, like is mind blowing that they didn't have it in there. Because like even with games like GoldenEye, like that set the standard for you at least should have local co-op, if anything.
Yep.
Or the local PvP, if anything.
PvP. Yep.
But they didn't do it. So this feels like a tech demo that was given a little bit more money and love than just a tech demo that would never be put out to the public. And I think this is a solid 2 out of 5. Like, it's just below average. It's not a bad game. It's just meh game.
Okay. What you got, Christian?
I know, yeah. We have to, everybody gets to hear Mage scream as I take her off the desk. Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything Preston said. For me, this game is like a 1-inch deep puddle. Like, you're just like,
Hey, you can drown in a spoonful of water.
You sure can. I think fucking mountain man sayings over there. I think that it's one of those things that it was better. It was better off just being a trailer, just to show some of the tech and different things. You know, if you want to add it as a playable thing,
Just for funsies,
I guess. But it certainly couldn't. It doesn't warrant anything. And if I'm just comparing it to its contemporaries that were before and after it, it's really, really hard to even like come up with any sorts of excuses about it. I'm rocking a 1.5. I'm rocking a 1.5 on it. I think that it's not a 1. It's not a Lords of Shadow, right? um, where I think that it is just like a, unfinished like garbage fire. Um, it's above that. I just don't think there's much else there. Like I think it's just what's there works. It does what it's supposed to do, but outside of the tech pieces of it, it's got nothing else going for it for me.
Yeah, my rating's a little higher than that, but I do actually think it's a bit of an unfinished game.
I think you do have
because
nostalgia with it, as far like Christian did play it, but he played it by himself. You had like you play with friends.
Yeah, but it is an unfinished game. I mean, the story doesn't end, right? Like
Well,
it's not
It
every.
ends. It's just a
Well,
cliffhanger.
it ends.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't. Right? It ends on a cliffhanger, which means the story's not done, right?
Hey,
so like,
playing movies end on a cliffhanger.
so
It's
there's-
an
Yeah,
ending.
but I wouldn't.
and
But
I
I
think-
wouldn't say Halo 1's an unfinished game.
no, I know what you're saying, but also like, they should have saw that coming, right? So,
Well,
I don't, but I think there are other things that kind of highlight the fact it feels a little unfinished with the stuff you have to collect. I think the lack of engaging boss battles is a bad thing, right?
in general,
Like,
just boss battles.
in general, like, yeah, I think there's a lot that's missing. So I'm actually right in line with Preston at a 2 out of 5. I think that the person that I was when I was reading about it, like, I think you perfectly summed it up, which is like, this game is better in your memories than it is going back to
Sure.
it. And unfortunately, going back to it kind of hampers those memories a bit, and really highlights this game was not much substance. Was a whole lot of flashes, one after another, after another, after another, after another.
Those
So
are
yeah,
flashes.
so that's that. That is Black, and
Mhm.
I am unapologetically happy that I often pick older games that make us remember how shitty they used to be. That is the niche I'm falling into. Play Beyond Good and Evil. That
Prince of
game
Persia,
sucked.
Worth
Prince of
It.
Persia wasn't so good.
I don't know that that's really what I mean. Like, mostly it's just been Ubisoft games that are bad.
That's just an EA
But
one.
a lot of people really like that game. To be fair, we just didn't like it. And
What
I
Black
actually
is
don't
rated
hate Prince of
Bla-
Persia. Preston was the one who hated it,
That's
but
right.
we were kind of okay with it.
Black is rated really high. Like, still, like, if you look at the list of like top games of that year, it's rated so high, and it would be interesting for all of those people to go back like we just did and
Yeah.
play it again and give it like a retrospective rating, because it's
Ain't gonna be that high.
anyway. So yes, that is that. We have a new game coming at you. What is this? Releases next week, which will be because we're doing 3 parts. So it's not going to be a new monthly game. We're going to do another game here in April. Preston, what are we doing? Because we were on pace with 4 episodes to do like a
The
game this
month
month. Christian
of-
did a
yeah.
game next month, but we're not doing that now. So
Also, you picked Jusant as one of your games.
Sounds a good one. Be fair.
Yeah.
just thought it was good.
And I like the Pathless. The Pathless I liked.
I got a mixed bag. I got some good games. I got some really
Hey.
low. Really, I got some.
Pick some stinkers.
Y'all can't be winners, right?
I'm not kidding. Like, I like the retrospective of a few of these. Just
Sure,
like,
it's
oh,
nice to
that
go
is
back,
not
yeah.
what I remember.
That's kind of been all of ours, though. The only one,
Yeah.
I think Preston has been the only one so far that has had games that none of us have touched.
Uh-huh.
Possibly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
get
you
ready
win
for my
Metro.
next pick. 'Cause it's gonna be that.
Okay. All right.
So next pick is Bramble, the Mountain King. This was a listener recommendation from Steph. This one's gonna dive into like Nordic fantasy horror kind of stuff going on. It's like a little indie game. I'm getting like Limbo-esque vibes when I'm seeing
I
like the kid
can't-
walk around.
I can't
Right
tell
on.
you guys how excited I am for this. I've had this game in a Steam library or not in a library, but in a wish list for fucking ever.
Well, I
and
got
I've
it in
just
the
never
library,
bought it.
So it's there for all of us.
I'm so
You can
excited.
find this on most platforms nowadays. I'm sure it's on the current ones too. But yeah, this is going to be a 2-parter. So we're going to play half of it next week, and we're going to finish off the other half after that. Pretty short game, anywhere between I've seen Let's Plays go for 3 hours. I've seen How Long to Beat says 4 to 5 if you're looking for all like the fancy stuff. So we're going to cut it down the middle. I did look at it, so it should be roughly about the same as far as time-wise.
I remember the gameplay release footage, the announcement footage of this game, where it was the little character running across a log in a pond, and it's the really creepy, witchy woman in the water whose like eyes are above the water. I'm so excited for this game. I really hope it doesn't suck because I'll be so sad.
Yeah, it's got decent reviews, so we'll see. It's a short.
I know
game.
nothing about this game, so I'm excited.
So yeah, we will finish Naken's Pond. That's Naecken. So it's not gonna like show up like, hey, there's a location. Oh, hey, here's like the chapter or whatever like that. So what you'll do is, I'm sure it'll say something about the pond at one point or another. The stop part that will stop is you'll be going like the character like falls into like a river stream that has like white water stuff, and you're dodging rocks and you fall off of the waterfall. Once you fall off and you get to the point to where we can stop and save, I'm not sure how this does saves. I'm assuming that once this cutscene kind of thing happens, it saves for you. That's where I want us to stop. So stop at Naken's Pond, and then we'll start up part 2 with Tuva as far as that section. So fall off the waterfall, stop your game. But yeah,
Cool.
Excited to play it. It's going to be a good little listener recommendation from stuff. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this. All right, and this works out perfectly because I'll be traveling for work. It's supposed to be a nice, easy, casual play for me. So, awesome, everybody. Well, don't forget to catch up with Preston on Sundays. We're continue to we continue to do Star Wars Sundays. I'm putting in no effort for that, by the way. That is all Preston, all day, all the time. He does all the hard work. He does the editing. He does the recording.
It's effort when you show up and hang out and talk.
Well, no, sure, but like that requires nothing of me.
No.
You're doing all the work. So hang out with Preston. Come hang out with all of us, and check in next week. With that, Preston, you know what to do.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to another episode of The Testing Room. To catch up on past episodes or to check out the newest ones when they drop, follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcast. If watching is more your thing, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/@thetestingroom, or watch us live on twitch.tv/testingroomlive. To leave comments or ask questions, you can follow us on Instagram @testingroompod, leave a comment on YouTube, or send them in to testingroompod@gmail.com. See you next time.